Well, hello there, internet friends. It's Too Old for Gaming. We're back here on Shchedrin again, and this time I am playing as Fortress Paris. I have to say this is one of my favorite new divisions just because they're so goofy and underarmed for a lot of their stuff. For today's deck build, we're starting off with a couple different recon units in Phase A. So we've got the UE 630s. Those have 50 caliber machine guns on them for 5 points. I figured they're worthwhile bringing in. They can add some suppression to the militia teams that are coming in Phase A. We've got Pumas for a little bit more anti-tank capability, and then 2 Panzer IVs. In Phase B, we'll get our sniper teams. They're 4-man teams, so can definitely take a little bit more damage than most sniper teams in the game. Once we get to our infantry, we've got 115 units in our deck. So a ton of these 5-man teams, 12 of them in Phase A with their Molotovs, and we've got our larger 10-man teams with their automatic rifle. And we can bring in, if we need it, the Luftwaffe Flakkampftruppen. They are disheartened, but they have a Panzerschreck, so that can make them useful against any larger tanks. We have the Shchedrin West. They're kind of like the militia teams, but they have the AT rifles that have been converted to use heat rounds. We can also bring in leaders. In Phase B, we have just a million squads of Ersatz Troop in Paris. And these teams have 2 machine guns, so you have your automatic rifle and then an MG-15. We also can bring in these Luftwaffe Jägerführers, and these guys are really nice because they have discipline, so you're not going to get surrendered to, say, flamethrower squads. If we want to spend the money on it like we need it, we can bring in some of the Fallschirmjäger, but they're expensive, so 35 points. We could call in 12. We can also call in these Panzergrens in their half-tracks, 9 of them. And then in Phase C, if we're really getting to a grindy match, we can bring in the Shchedrin West with the Panzerfaust for 20 points. So, I mean, in terms of being able to take on attrition, we've got it in spades. For tanks, you're only getting the Panzer 39H to start off with an A along with some Tigers. The 39Hs I think are good for towns to help give fire support, and then in B and C we get some Panthers, which are, you know, one of the best tanks in the game. For support, we're bringing in some MPs to help keep those guys from running away. The Grenadier Führer does not have a discipline trait, so I needed to bring those in an A if I was going to bring in the Flakkampftruppen. Flame Panzers, which I think are always great for 15 points. You're getting a anti-tank gun, a flamethrower, and a machine gun, and a tank with decent armor for 15 points. I'd always grab them. In Phase B, we're going to bring the MG42s. I didn't want to run out of MG42s by bringing them in Phase A. And then we've got Opel munition truck. For anti-tank, we've got a lot of equipment available in Phase A, and I want to say that's due to phase locking. So we can bring in the 35Rs, the Pak 36s, the Marder 3, Jagdpanzer 4, and the Pak 38. So it depends on the terrain that you're going up against, what you're going to want to call in, obviously. I like bringing in the Pak 36s for towns and like light forest areas along with the 35Rs. In terms of anti-air, we've got the M36 French Capture 75, some 25s, and then 88s in Phase B. Artillery, pretty simple. We've got 9 cards of 105s with radios, and then we've got a 600 millimeter railroad gun off map in Phase B if we want to call it in. In terms of air, we've just got French spotting planes, and then we've got heavy fighters in the Ju-88 C6. Those are only 1-point cards, so I brought them in. If you guys have watched me for any time, I don't really use Air Force that much, so let's see how this goes. So I'm bringing in loads of Pak 36s, French capture tanks. They're still with something. I mean, I like light tanks. I think are good for urban combat. You're not nearly as worried about losing them. They can give you that machine gun support, small cannon support. Got autos coming up here, but the militiamen holding the line And if they get in close, they've got Molotovs to push them off, like this squad right here. So if you see our layout here, I'm kind of trying to cut off him pushing through these roads with my Pack 36s. I'm bringing in these UE-630 French capture vehicles. They've got a 50 caliber machine gun on them, and they're 5 points. So give me a little recon to look down the rest of the city here and provide some fire support. I also have the B2 flame panzers. These are, again, I think also great for city fighting. Trying to play this deck in other environments is really hard. They're absolutely made for fighting in towns. So it looks like we've got an 81 millimeter mortar that's brought in. We've got some Pack 50s that got left way behind. There's one here guarding our left flank. We've got a 57 millimeter airborne gun that took out our UE armored recon and is firing at our B2, so I'm having to back him up. The B2s have 80 millimeters of frontal armor, so pretty good for an early war tank. I actually think they were designed pre-war, so really good. Our 39H is destroyed over here. I'm not sure if that was artillery or probably this 57 over here. And I hear our little Panzer 39H firing away at these houses over here. We've got a Puma up front shooting at the gunners coming in. And I'm dropping artillery on the 57 millimeter anti-tank gun. I have these LEFH-16s. They are, I think the accuracy is really bad on these. Yeah, 20% accuracy and only 4 rounds a minute. But they're only 70 points, and you get 50 shells. So it might not land in the right place, but you get a lot of shells. And so with these militiamen, you get the ones with the FM 2429 and 7 rifles and 2 submachine guns. They are 15 points. And then you get these 5-man squads with Molotovs for 10 points. And when you work them together in a town, they're pretty good, I think. So I'm bringing up my 39H to help sweep the area. I think we've taken out the AT gun here. Heavy engagement from our infantry and this Puma. Another auto goes down. I think it was to maybe one of these 39s. And we got more Studebakers coming in. A Maxim is pinning down our little squad here. But as he tries to bring in more infantry, he is getting pinned by our 50 cals from our 5-point little armored recon vehicles. And because he's got these M1 guns, I'm having to keep some of these guys hidden here. We're starting to get shelled pretty heavily in this area if you look at the ground. FM-29's doing a good job of helping to wipe out these Strelkies. And now I'm pushing forward with these UE-630s. And their 50 cals are just keeping these Strelky pinned down. We just took a shot from over here. It looks like we've got M18 Hellcats on our right flank. We're in rifle range to shoot these guys too. We got gliders, rifles over here. So there's two enemy divisions over here. It looks like, I think this was probably the 101st. Let's see if it's in there. Yeah, so 101st, and he's got the Grupa Fedjunkina. So, not doing as much suppression as it used to, but it still suppresses at 100% or 100 rates. These are triple vetted, so that's probably why they're not being suppressed super fast. These glider rifles are definitely strong squads here. With the 10 N1 Garands and a BAR, they can definitely pin you down. So now I have 3 artillery pieces in. Again, they're all 70 points. They carry quite a bit of ammo. They have radios, but I'm not sure. We've got a radio man back here. So I'm not sure if they're in range yet. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're covering the whole town now. Still not the most accurate. I wanted 3 pieces of artillery to start, but maybe worth just vetting them for accuracy and bringing in 2. So we're at a 17-15, guys. We're going on the offensive now to try to capture the rest of the town. The mighty Frenchmen clearing things out here. And getting great use out of these 5-point units. If you've watched me for any point in time, you'll know that I just love bringing in cheap stuff. It's just so fun to try to punch upwards against other units and have them win. Now we're getting... The steel rain is falling in. Oh my goodness. Look at all these 60mm mortars just absolutely obliterate the area, destroying my tank. Unfortunately, it looks like Stan has left the match. But I'm not sure which side he's on. So our 105's dropping their artillery here. We lose another light vehicle. And the glider's rifles have bazookas. They do manage to take out my B2, which is a big bummer. I had brought in a Puma here to help kind of scan the area. And now we're getting fired on from Katyushas on the other side of the map. So heavy, heavy enemy shelling on our position. Really wants to keep us from capturing the entire town. We're trying to counter battery, but there's so much coming in. We've got enemies over here and over here firing on our position because I think their whole team knows if they lose this town, it's going to be really hard to recover. So we've got the policemen coming in. Now, I'm not sure why they're called West. The Shchedrin's West. Anybody knows why they're called the West? Because there's West and I don't know if the other one's East or it's called something else. Maybe that's where they were in Paris. But they have, they've got the AT rifles with the heat shells. So they get a little bit of AT capability, and when you're this close in the city, it's not bad. I had to pull one of these vehicles back. We've got a T-34-85 here. Again, just trying to see what's out there. Our Flame Panzer's not going to be able to penetrate the front of that because it's 110 mils, and these are like 70, I think? Yeah, 70. So, they've got this little northern part of the town and our western half, if this is west. Unfortunately, we lose our Puma to this T-34-85. Trying to redirect my artillery over there, but we are getting counter-batteried right now. We've got a Flak 37 here who's probably going to take these down. We also have these 50mm Pak 38s, so he is not going to be around very long. Sturmpanzer in the mix as well. So these guys are really bunched up, super dangerous, especially with all those mortars that were here, if they still have any left. That's, if you can, use the move order, because the hunt order, they won't move, because the last thing you want is just all these guys getting wiped at once. Definitely been in that situation before. Use the move order to spread them out. I think these guys are 25 points too, so there's a decent amount of points there on the table. Actually, they're only 20. 10-man squad with a machine gun and AT capability for 20 points, I feel like, is pretty good, especially when they get the extra optics when they're immobile. So, what was that? Oh, it's one of these 82s. You guys let me know in the comments. I don't find these horribly effective. They look impressive on the map, but having tried to use them before, I don't really find that they kill a whole lot. And I'm still getting shelled over here, so all three are still alive. We lost one man. Trying to keep them moving, but the larger artillery pieces definitely move slower than, say, the 75s. So if he tries to rush in through the bridge, I can move these so that 37 millimeter guns can move really fast. That's the thing. All these different pieces in the game have different trade-offs. So, like, I love these M3 airborne guns, 37. Like, it's really fun to knock out tanks with them in towns and ambushes from different angles. These lighter guys, you can move them into position really fast. I think that's one of the big benefits of them. We lose another 39H, actually probably to this M3 gun. These guys have really good stealth too, so exceptional stealth. The BMW must be spotting him. And he does get through the front armor of that tank. So I brought in an MG42 here, in case you tried pushing across, and here comes that shelling. So, unfortunately, it looks like he lost most of his men already, but if that would have happened, if they would have known about that, he would have been in pretty deep trouble. Everyone would have been wiped out. So I have the Ersatz Troop in Paris team here. They've got 3 MP28s, 10 Moss rifles, and 2 light machine guns. One's an automatic rifle. The other is a light machine gun. So we're looking at 42 suppression just for the machine guns, plus 18 for the rifles, 22 for the machine guns. I think they're really good. The worst thing about them is just their suppression rate due to being disheartened. So I would definitely recommend bringing in like an MP to help out, to help stave off any air attacks. I did bring in the Flak M36 French Capture. It's an impressive looking piece of equipment, but I've found that it's a little underwhelming compared to some of the bigger anti-aircraft guns. So, because of the disheartened status of my units, they're all running away. And we'll have to push them back to the town. We do have a Panther here who really needs an infantryman like here, because somebody could come across with a bazooka and take him out. Like, we've got armed rifles coming in now with bazookas. I noticed that these guys are coming over. I put a help beacon just so that people notice this, and I'm bringing in an MG42 position and then moving my B2 flame panzers over. We've got autos in here who are starting to wipe out my Pak 36 guns. And the arms rifles are not using hunt order. They're basically running at me right now. My flame panzer's in position to start using his machine gun and main cannon. Big artillery shell starting to land in the center of the town here. And my MP coming in right now to keep these guys from breaking and running. Because of this force moving in, I thought it best to move my 75mm AA gun back. I didn't want to lose him for nothing against these like 20-point squads. Now if we look back here at the enemy, we just have a ton of mortars set up 60s. 60s don't kill a lot, but they suppress very fast. Lots and lots of vehicles heading forward, and all these armed rifles are pinned down from tons of light machine gun fire. Unfortunately, he gets an auto in here. We do surrender him with our flamethrower. And my Paris teams managed to wipe out these rifles teams who came across the river. Military police, keep in order. And these 13-man teams are 25 points, so they're not the cheapest, but I mean they're beefy. I don't think there's anything as good as the new assault engineers, or I think that's the name of them. What's that 13-man squad with flamethrowers and MG42s? So we now have an ISU 152 looking down the road, which is definitely a challenge. We need to take him out. He probably still has AT guns over here. My MG42, Pak 36 set up for ambushes, getting pinned down. There's not really a lot of good fields of fire for heavy machine guns inside the town. Obviously, if you're looking outside the town, you can. If I move him down 2 houses, he'll have a good view over here. We lose a Panzer IV to infantry here. It's getting awfully close to my Flame Panzer B2. We got more rockets coming in from the 82mm rocket launcher. So definitely suppressing everyone over here. Our shell, 105 shell's incapable of destroying the ISU-152. So I noticed that he was making a rush, the enemy team was making a rush across to try to capture the hill. I brought in a Flak 36 in the Lightwoods and a Puma to spot, and then a Panther G to back them up, because he had made a very significant investment in armored vehicles. So we should be able to wipe all these guys out. He's trying to smoke his way out of it, but I've got angle for a long time, and we're going to be able to just wipe every single one of these vehicles out. You know, we did lose a Puma, but that's not too bad. So moving my 75mm sort of back to the front to get on enemy aircraft earlier. Oh, those IL-2s can take a ton of suppression. So another 75 goes down. And we got the 105 here, which is the biggest danger to our 88. Misses on the first shot because these guys aren't vetted. Moving the Panther G into position, he should be able to land. Misses on the second shot. And we take 3 casualties in response and then wipe him out. So we're in a position now where we can see down here. He's got some more infantry trying to cross. There is a Pioneer Führer who's going to get his frags off probably on these raiders. I should be able to push him off this point. Back in the town, Ursat's troop in Paris doing a good job of chipping away at the enemy infantry here. Getting everyone back into position. The Luftwaffe Jaeger Führers do have discipline, which is really nice. Discipline and radios. So you don't need as many like MPs. And I think the ring is a little bit bigger, right? So we get veterancy and discipline. So 105 starting to run out of ammo. I'll be interested to see how effective these are at destroying enemy units at the end of the game. So the Hellcats who have been sitting here all game are open top, so I figured, hey, that's a good time to try and shell and blow them up with 105 fire. But again, just not the most accurate units. Even with the radio, they're kind of around, but you know, in some of those more accurate units, I feel like you can just drop directly on a vehicle with a radio. So we come in close, but we don't destroy him. Strelky's trying to push through here. Superi's, our Paris teams over here, though, have an open view. These guys out in the open, they're triple vetted, meaning, you know, anytime I see triple vetted, unless there's a lead around, I just kind of know, like, oh, he's only got like 6 of these, and I've got 18. So if I can keep him pinned, I can bring in more units. It's just a different way of playing. So since we lost our Puma, I brought in a Panzer IV Recon, and then we brought in a Tiger to back things up here. I thought since we're a bit bottled up here, maybe it's worth trying to sweep around on his right flank to take this flag. So the IL-2 is coming back in. They destroy a Pak 36 with their anti-tank rockets. Not a huge loss. 75 though, just not, it's not amazing. It's 90 points too. It's got 3,000 range, 3,000 meters of range, but it's still not great. I had brought in a Pak 50 to help support against some of these heavier vehicles that are coming in. And then there's a Panzer IV here. Just trying to spot anything coming over. This is an insane amount of AT guns back here. I don't know why we're doing this, but it's kind of funny to see. Oh, Ursat's troop in Paris continuing to chew up these Superiors marching out in the open. If you don't help push, I live. Okay. So we've got this flag back. And there's more T-34s coming in. Trying to get my Pak 38 up here so that we can cover any trucks and tanks coming in. He's moved up a 37 mil, who's dueling with my MG42 right now that I was trying to get into position. He's triple vetted though, so we are definitely taking some casualties with our single vet being out in the open. And I'm trying to get my Flame Panzer up into position, but he's going to target that ISU-152. And SU-76 is destroyed by a Tiger here. Ursat's troop in Paris. Gonna be one man left on this Zenar 61K. Still not able to destroy this ISU-152, but JU-88's coming in. Should be able to nuke him right now. And he goes down. So the guy holding us back is done. My infantry is in. And I actually, with this Flak 36, was firing so much, because we're shooting at the air too, I had to bring in a resupply truck. Mitchells make it in. They drop off one load of bombs, possibly on this Tiger. And they probably damage him, but don't kill him off. The Filthy 13 here up in the front lines, taking tons and tons of machine gun fire from the Flame Panzer and the Ursat's troop in Paris. Remember, guys, these guys are all fanatical now. That's the other nice thing, too. If you're going up against flamethrowers or something and you've got the MP behind them, they're not going to surrender. It gets so frustrating when you have, like, an 8-man squad left and they just give up and you lose, like, 5 or 6 to one squad with, like, 2 men left in it with flamethrowers. When you have your discipline trait, they just never, they won't give up, and you can usually bring in an unsuppressed squad to rescue them. It's like these Strelke squads, 25 points, so not super expensive. They're good. I mean, I feel like with the latest patch, a lot has changed. He's trying to bring in P-51s to strafe me now. We don't have any real small caliber guns to deal with fighters at the moment. Continue to push forward slowly. I don't want to get ambushed here, but now I've got my hunt order to go attack this. We've got another Panther backing us up. He's got Panzergrens moved way forward too, and our Flak 88 can hit up to here. Our Pack 38 is moved into position to cut off his resupplies. We're just in range, and our MG 42 is in position if anything comes in a little slightly closer. So, French militia doing a good job of suppressing these DTs. They're pinned now. In terms of artillery, we're out at the moment, but they're so cheap. I did bring in 3 more 105s. We spot the 203 truck up here. And continuing to wipe out the enemy tanks on our right flank with our 2K stuff. We're in 1814 if you're still with me, guys. And we've got a platoon of T-34-85s back here. It's a lot of points. I mean, there's at least 400 points back there, if not more. Maybe 500 with everything we saw. There's a JU-88S1 coming in. Let's see what happens here. And so we take out one, damage a couple more, and now we've got M476s. I have brought in Panthers to cover the left flank here with a spotting unit of a Panzer IV. So since we can see everything, we should be able to engage these guys before they see us. We have captured the flag over here, and we've got a decent static line. We spot a Hellcat back here. Probably the guys who retreated here. And we managed to take him out. Tiger, not in a great position, being in the side of the hill. He's trying to smoke us to stop our advance. Got just a ton of M476s here. The Panther can spot them first, though. See if he hits his man. And he destroys an M4. Another Panther just out of range here. I tried selecting all and dropping artillery, and if you do that and you don't have any left, they'll just move towards the enemy, which is kind of a weird default. So we lose our recon tank to the P-47, and I think our Panther might have been damaged in that a little bit. Our Tiger, though, I think he's unscathed still. Yeah, he's still good to go. But we don't... He hasn't moved... It would have been nice if he moved his Panzergrens up. We got another P-47 coming in. Man, these are expensive units. Manages to probably damage us this time. Yeah, so these guys are both one-shots, and there's more P-47s coming in. So, P-47's really expensive units. That's a lot. That's a lot of points right there. Panther's still dueling with these M4s, but it looks like we wiped most of them out if they're not hiding. Strelky's caught out in the open in front of a Sturmpanzer. And we've got a Ju-88 coming in with 2 500-kilogram bombs. Dropping it, I think, right on these Strelkies, so we'll see what happens here. That was a really good strike. Wow. Nice work. So these guys had retreated. They're still up. But our Panthers now pushing in on the infantry here. I'm leaving our Panzer IV back. And all that's remaining over here after all the airstrikes is our Panther G, who's heavily damaged. I did bring in the sniper team. It's a 4-man sniper team for 20 points. It's going to help spot things for us. And then we've got a Panther leader moving in here to give these guys some more veterancy. But we're dealing with a ton of M10 tank destroyers who are now engaging. Our 39H is destroyed, but our PAC-38, again, we had him set up to engage him. We take multiple casualties in response, but we do destroy one of them, and he's probably dead. I had brought in these 25mm Flak 39s to help against fighter bombers. We've got another one coming in over here from a different team. Russian, he gets pushed off. So we spot some Cav scouts with our sniper team, and we're starting to wipe them out. And the 2 Panthers helping push the line. I'm bringing in these Panzerjäger 35Rs to act as ambush, because I don't need... Like, a 47mm anti-tank gun is going to take out these tank destroyers. They got 25 on the side, 75 in the front, so we should be able to take him out with those really light, inexpensive tank destroyers. Panther G goes down. And we've got our leader Panther here, going up against a lot of units. Looks like we destroyed a 37 in the town. And once the retreat hits on the Panther leader, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of them. We've got 81mm half-tracks coming in to try and shell them to oblivion. And I tried something different. I brought in these Ju-88 C6s. I was going to try and launch them all at the same time to see if we can take out any of these M10s. These guys have 3 20mm guns in the front and then 3 8mm guns. We'll see if we can take out one of these with the open top. No, still doesn't. We've got a 37mm firing at him too. I had moved my MG42 from here up further. He's firing at Strelky. Our sniper still hiding pinned down here, but probably not going to be around for very long. Since we're getting counter-batteried by our 105s, the ring is pretty big. They're in range of my 88, though, so we should start knocking those guys out. So a good little back-and-forth fight here from medium heavy tanks to tank destroyers. I'm moving my 50mm gun in to try and destroy these guys. And then my Panzerjäger 35Rs are coming in. Now he's trying to rush across with T-3485s. 50 mil, though, panics the crew on one of them. He's firing at my MG42. We gotta reset the gun. And he's changed targets again. We're dealing with M4s on the hilltop who are having to fight in two directions. Ju-88 drops his bomblets off. Push the leader back. The panic crew are going to run right into an AT gun or something. And he is destroyed. I've got my Panzerjäger little hunters out here, spread out. Fires at the T-34-85, but the Pak-38 does destroy him. Enemy completely bottled up back here by shelling and big guns from 2K. Looks like we had a napalm bomber go off over here to try to wipe some things out. My Panthers are still alive, and we've got more and more infantry coming in and trucks. Bofor's up here trying to keep us off his armor. Looks like a second anti-aircraft gun there too. Panzerjäger 35R firing at it though. Gets a casualty on him. 1913, 5 minutes to go. We do lose one of them to the, I think this M4 here. Yep, he's getting fired on by the M4s up on the hill, and he's out of range, so that's a bummer. So these guys are too bunched up at this point, but I'm focused on other things. We're taking counter battery fire. I did bring in a truck back here to try and resupply some of these other ones. We did pin the Bofors. We lose another Panzerjäger 35R. Pak-38 firing away at the M4s, bouncing off that front plate, and he's dealing with another platoon coming in, so he does die. We've got a couple of these Panzerjäger 35Rs still left in the town, though. And there's a Panzer IV here in the crossroads who takes out another M4. Flame Panzer ran out of high explosive rounds. We're moving in another one to try to cut off these trucks here. MG42 is stopping them, but he's pinned down. Ursat's troop in Paris moving in to protect the flag. Units running at 12 runs of ammo left for our little militia team here. And now the 25 mils getting in on the fun. Triple vetted due to the leader right next to him. Really making quick work of the Strelke team, and there's near a company of men coming in. See if that Flame Panzer can do some work to push these guys off. I've redirected my 105s there, and they're getting suppressed quickly. We've got another large group of men coming in. One of my 105s is destroyed by counter battery fire. Just fire going on everywhere here right now. Even the Flak 37 firing away at aircraft over here. Tons of tanks, armor up here. Our Flak 36 at M36 is nearly out of ammo. Our Panthers are still alive. Trying to cut them off at the road here. And he's just out of view. Flame Panzer firing away with his MAC 31. And all this guy's infantry out in the open after running away. Got a Panzerjäger here to intercept anyone trying to push across. Another P-47 coming in for my Panthers, but the anti-aircraft this time too strong to allow him to get his rockets off. So bringing in the 20mm AA guns definitely helped out. I could hear them firing. At least I thought I did. I tried sending my Ju-88s. They're too slow, though. And there's a decent AA net back here, so we've got to flee for the moment. We're at a 2012, though. So the rest of my infantry coming in here to reinforce the city. Yeah, Flak 39 was firing at those P-47s. So I'm not sure if he's intending to do a last-second rush here, but we're going to run out of time before we see that. 2012, and we absolutely destroyed them in this match. It was fun and exciting, though, to see him do these different rushes with infantry and tanks, though. So let's see how this ended up at the end of the match. After 36 minutes and 39 seconds, we captured 20 out of 32 objectives. In terms of team stats here, we did pretty good at damaging the enemy with our Fortress Paris division. In terms of kills, our Pack 36 got a couple trucks. Our little 15-point squads did a few. 105s actually did do some work on enemy equipment, so we took out some 60s and 57mm AT guns. The Flame Panzer B2s for 15 points took out a lot. Flak 88 on that hill was in a great position, never got hit by artillery. Definitely did a lot of damage to the enemy. A 25-point team, Ursat's troop in Paris, just wiped out a ton of units. Panther G, ton of units. Paris again. Pack 50, looks like he took out 2 trucks and a tank destroyer. So having him set up to ambush that road was a great idea. Tiger takes out a few, Panther takes out a few. 105s, again, take out a few more, even though they're not very accurate. Panthers take out a ton of equipment. MG42 does well. So, do we kill any planes? No. So that M36 flak, not, I don't know, I might remove that from my deck. It's just, I don't think it's that good. In terms of losses, oh, did our UE 630s kill anything? I'd be really curious about that. For 5 points. I know they suppressed a lot of stuff. No, they didn't kill anything off. So in losses, those 57 airborne guns, take out a couple of those. Some light equipment. Glider rifles, take out a few as we were trying to assault. Katusha, a couple of these Pack 36s. Autos, take out a few when we got in close to that B2. Strelke took out a few. We had some aircraft take out some vehicles. M10 did a good job against our equipment. M4 took out some light stuff. So in terms of experience, we did 12% of the kills in the team and 9% of the command points and 11% of the casualties. So I really like Fortress Paris. It's just a fun, goofy mix of infantry and armor that's like interesting to use. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.